How do you effectively negotiate in real estate? Have you ever wondered how realtors negotiate? What are some of the strategies used? I'm Adrian. I'm an entrepreneur, real estate broker with Century 21 in the Greater Toronto area. In this channel, we'll share valuable tips and advice and everything real estate. So if you like or are interested in the real estate business, please click subscribe and the bell to stay connected. Now today, we're going to talk about negotiation strategies and the best mindset that I use in real estate when negotiating with agents, clients, and other business partners. And number one negotiation tip that can be used across all industries is having the right mindset. What is the right mindset? The right mindset is having a win-win situation for both parties. Having the right mindset when entering negotiation can really benefit the outcome for both parties. If you're just looking to get the better of the party to the point they're feeling at a big loss, almost like you tricked them, you're going to be in trouble in the long run. As a result, they may not perform as part of their agreement, or they may not work as hard, or they may just skip certain parts and not perform that term or that condition at all. For example, if you were hiring an employee and you pay them less than what they think they deserve, are they going to work hard for you? Most likely not. Are they going to really come through for you when you need them? Probably not. So how do you create a win-win situation? Very commonly, you want to give a little, meet in the middle, if it's price, if it's terms. Basically, you want to show the other party that you're willing to negotiate. So as negotiators, we ask the other party, we try to find out as much as possible what are their motivations, what are their wants, and what is a win for them. And then we also communicate with our clients and find out what is a win for them, and then we kind of bump heads and see if we can meet in the middle, if certain terms and certain conditions can be met, and how close we are to make that a win situation. Which brings us to the next point. Don't be afraid to chase that win. I'm going to use an example as me representing the buyer. In a buyer's market, you're able to provide a low offer, and my client's win is probably to get a really low price well under market value. To start, find the seller's ouch point. What's their ouch point? Their ouch point is something, a number or price that would be like, ooh, that's really low, that hurts. That ouch point could be 15% under what we perceive as the market value after realtors do a market evaluation. If it's a motivated seller and they really need to get rid of it right away, that's what the other side has told you, you could go even lower. If it's a really fixer-upper, it could be 30%. What that number is, it's an ouch point, but keep in mind it's the right ouch point. You don't want to go too low, as if that could offend the seller and they could be like, oh, that's way too low, I'm not even going to talk to that person. That has happened, whereas it's too low and then the negotiating side, the buyer side, takes too long. This happened to me representing the seller. The seller was really offended by this lowball offer that was received. So you want to be careful not to go too low. As perceived as a lowball, then the seller won't take you serious. So in terms of offending the seller, you want to be careful because they could be like, I don't want to, waste my time with this person. And if you go too low and then come up a little higher, then they're just not going to want to talk to you. And that could be what you think it's worth. But if you're seriously wanting the property, then try to avoid those low ball offers from the jump, because that first impression is kind of important. You want to, from the get-go, to show that, hey, I'm serious, I'm not playing any games. So pricing is a very important part in real estate, in both listing prices and offer prices. Tip number 3, be patient and make time to wait. Time is money. You want to make sure you're prepared and you're able to wait out the negotiation process and come back with another offer or another price when the time is right. You don't want to wait too long, as weeks may be too long and the other seller could not be interested and may have moved on. If you have time on your side, you're able to save money and negotiate further and more strategically. You won't be rushed to accept an offer that you originally don't wanted, or a price that you didn't want. So time with being on your side, helps you put yourself in a strategic position. Again, focusing on the buyer side, I would save blocks of time where you're looking for other options and other properties as well, so you're not just have all your eggs in that one property. If that doesn't work out, you can move on to another property, and you can also tell that agent and that seller, hey, we're also interested in this property, so if this doesn't work out, we can move on to this one. So you want to have that extra time to find another option if possible. That's why when buying, I stress it's always good to start looking ahead of time. You have months to prepare, and that way you can find more than one property that you really want. As I believe, multiple offers are here to stay. With a limited supply and high demand in the Greater Toronto Area, we as agents have to negotiate hard for our clients in order to secure the property they want. How do we negotiate hard? Instead of obviously the price, is terms and conditions. It could be a closing date, it could be waiving a condition, inspection, financing, or a status certificate if it's a condo. As a negotiation tactic, we also want to consider work versus time. Work time is also price. So to them, they don't want to do the work, they don't want to spend the time doing it, they don't want to spend the time thinking about it anymore, they just want to move out, and that's it. So we want to take out all the stress and work from the seller. Tip number 4, gain their trust and commit to negotiating. You want to be the one that stands out and not only the price. This tip and strategy best applies when it's a multiple offer situation you're going into with the seller. 2017 and in previous years before that, we had seen more multiple offers, whereas agents are asked to present in person at the office or at the property. After and during COVID, we have switched to a more virtual and email format. Presenting in person is always better, as people can see your body language and they can see who is representing the buyer, and it kind of has more of an impression on the seller. For example, in the best scenario, negotiating with the other party in a multiple offer situation would be to present in person. If that doesn't work, talk to them on the phone to negotiate, and then lastly it would be through email and text. So if I'm able to present in person, what would also be good is if it was during a multiple offer presentation, having a deposit in hand also helps to show the commitment to making an offer and buying this property. Now, knowing what your buyer's budget is and the max point, I advise never to go over a certain number that they don't want to go over in a situation, whereas you're bidding with other parties, you want to set a ceiling number, a number that is, okay, this is my best shot and I'm happy with offering this and not getting it. I have no regrets. That's the number that you're looking for. Now, sometimes with even their ceiling number, it might not be high enough for the seller, and maybe 99% of the time, the seller would choose a slightly higher price over yours. But in that 1 to 2%, that might be a case where the seller doesn't pick necessarily the highest price. If the prices are close and you're able to present to the seller and the agent in person, and the other agent didn't show up at all, they may likely choose you because you cared enough, your side cared enough to come and present to them, as well as you're going to talk about terms and they're showing you're willing to negotiate, and they have a sense of trust in you. They may pick your offer and you over the other party just based on having that little bit of trust gained. So that has happened to me before. I was told that my client's offer was picked because they liked me, the agent trusted me, and I don't know what happened, but I think that agent and the other agent had a falling out and they didn't trust each other, or something happened there. But I was told our price was lower, and they still picked us because I was professional in my negotiating and presenting my client's intention and who they were, and they got a real sense of trust and good impression from us. That, among other factors, sometimes I call it there's a little bit of luck. The other side didn't come prepared, or they did something that gave the sellers a bad feeling. I was able to get my clients the property for a lower price than expected, and lower than what was competing and top bid. Don't be afraid to chase that win. At the same time, gain that trust and just shoot your shot, because you never know. Tip strategy number 5 is leave emotion at the door. This is probably the most difficult thing to do, as we're all human and we all feel emotion, anger, excitement, and it's really hard to control. Having emotions, sometimes you end up getting less money, or you're okay with that, sometimes for your peace of mind and you're trusting your gut feeling. You may have been burned in the past and you want to go with the safe, more trustworthy, what you find is the lowest risk option. You may find something that is lower in price. For example, it will be an offer with no conditions versus an offer with conditions. Sometimes an offer without conditions that's lower may be preferred by the seller. In other words, that peace of mind is worth more to the seller than that top price, because you never know, they may be burned in the past with people kind of, again, negotiating down and really playing games with them to the point as the price is even much lower than they ever wanted because of these conditions in their offer. The most important part to remember, leaving emotion at the door, is definitely anger. Ego and anger kills deals. You will definitely want to leave your anger and ego at the door. You want to keep it as professional as possible. I've seen a lot of deals that fall through, that don't work out because of ego and anger, because the other party said something in negotiating, they were offended in the offer or the terms, like a how dare you, and they say something that insults the other party, either by email or in person. They insult the other party either by email or on the phone, and there's no saving after anything. They're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this person, even if it's a great deal. I don't want to give this other party the satisfaction and doing any business with them or giving them any win, of course. So we have to be careful with our egos and anger, not to say anything to the agent or the other party that would offend them, because in the long run, when you want to go back to the table after you've settled down, it'll be too late. So that's where I feel agents have the value in coming in and helping their clients, is often if done privately, something was said emotionally, they don't have to be professional about it. They'd be, forget this person. Whereas agents, we kind of have to swallow our ego for the sake of our client, represent our client to do what needs to be done, be professional, put our egos aside, and do what's needed to get the deal done. It is always easier if you have that win-win mentality. You're always being fair to the other side. That way, if both situations are a win-win, then both parties are happy. That's always the best scenario. In conclusion, I ask, what's a win to you? That's it for today's video. Keep negotiating and keep in mind to keep it fair and create a win-win situation. Until next time, keep it 100.